Everyone has their own Shangri-La. Our story begins here with my two friends.
My name is Frankie Dunbar. I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, and right now I'm living in Missoula, Montana, working as a software developer and data scientist.
My name is Thomas. I come from Estonia originally, but now I've been in Canada for 10 years.
I think it was a few years ago when I heard about that Cerberus Falls is one of the highest waterfalls in Canada, and I looked it up in Google Earth and I saw this crazy valley with waterfalls all over. If you're an ice climber, then it looks like a dream.
I was like a kid in a candy shop. Jesus.
This area is absolutely one of the most stunning places I've ever been.
Frank, how do you think about climbing?
I want to climb that one and 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 that one.
We should stay here for 1 month.
1 whole month with 1 week's worth of food.
This is me. My name is Dong Su. I was a nomadic alpinist in China for many years. All my life was about exploring higher mountains and seeking further ascents. Until 10 years ago. In that 2 years, my friend passed away in climbing accidents. Each time I went out to rescue them, only found their dead bodies. After I carried down both Charlie and Christine's bodies from the mountain, it just made me don't want to climb anymore. It gives me fear about it really bad. I never want to return to the mountains.
Today we will go and take a look around because its visibility is so bad, so don't really see anything.
I grew up in Estonia. By the time I was a kid, it was still part of Soviet Union. Mountains came into my life later, like when I was in university. From the Soviet times, there are good connections between Estonian mountaineers and Russian mountaineers, and a lot of mountains in Russia. And after my first trip to the mountain, I was hooked.
Slow motion avalanche.
Slowly building up, huh?
My dad's family relocated to Barrow, Alaska, which is now known as Utqiagvik, the early 80s. Their family was originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I've had a pretty fluid identity growing up, particularly as a person of color. Like 10 years ago, you really it was hard for just like a high school kid to get into ice climbing. That's niche. Well, I was fortunate enough to have a handful of people that I was buddies with who were willing to share that with me and who were exposed to that to me. So yeah, that's how I got into climbing.
I'm Estonian. For most people here, that means Eastern Europe, if not Russian. That I would strongly disagree with. I would describe myself more as a Scandinavian, like Finnish person.
People often ask me in Canada, how was it to grow up in Soviet Union? And I mean, you're a child, you're a kid, you're living your life, you have childhood, you play with your friends and eat ice cream, and yeah, life is fun.
Hey there. We're gonna climb the right one. It is nice to be in Alaska because there's a culture around going on really long expeditions, which is fun, and people seem to relish discomfort a bit more. I really enjoyed as a kid and just being out there. The self-sufficiency is particularly inspiring to live in that environment for a couple of days.
There's a lot of bad ice. That means everything takes much more time. You have to really work for many placements just to remove the snow, remove the bad layers, make sure that your sticks are solid.
One of the main undertones for this trip was these are big, beautiful ice lines. Conditions were challenging this trip because we had obviously quite a bit of snow fall while we were here. That is a challenge for water ice climbing, in that you have sort of a crust layer. When you're climbing, you really need to be very conscious.
My background from Estonia, from the Soviet Union, where life was quite a bit different, and also my travels. I lived in a third world countries and seen how bad life can be, and living a week in the backcountry will teach you that these comforts that we have at home in the city is a luxury, and it is not really necessary, and you can get away with so much less.
Originally had no clue what I wanted to do, but I sort of found a niche working geology jobs in the summer, bouncing between that and commercial fishing, and then eventually found an interest in glaciology and computer science.
When I stopped climbing, I got interested in filmmaking and wandering around the world. 5 years ago, I fell in love and became a father. With my family, traveling around the world and looking at a place that we can call home. Then was COVID. We eventually settled down in Kemu. 2 years ago, when I first saw this valley in summer, I was shocked by these waterfalls. And now, I imagined the waterfalls would freeze and the snow would fall during winter. I went to climbing on ice falls and skiing on the glacier above. After 10 years away from climbing.
In this July, I will have a kid. This is definitely gonna change my routine. The priorities are gonna shift. I really embrace this trip. It's gonna be one of the last bigger trips before I will concentrate on my family more.
You get to see it from both eyes, right? You have your climbing experiences and you have the scientific understanding. It's fun to think about it from different perspectives, and then you get to bring them together to be here and do the climbing.
The fourth day, we went to climb the Blue Lagoon, one of the best looking lines in the valley. It goes up 200 meters straight up.
you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, time for hungry?
Oh yeah.
How's the climbing today? Good?
So good.
So tomorrow, what's the plan?
So we're getting quite a bit of snow tonight. Might make for unsafe conditions. And lots of wallowing for the higher elevation stuff.
How about you, Thomas? Another day before you get back for your kids.
Yeah, I still think it would be good to get one climb all the way to the top.
How you feel? You good? You good?
Yeah.
You still have fever?
Yeah, I'm definitely running hot, but you know what? It'll keep me warm on the climb.
Our last day of climbing today, looks like, and the weather is not helping us at all. Our big goal, that was to climb Cerberus Falls, main kind of line that connects the valley floor with the top of the canyon. In potential, if we manage to do it, then we can go up with skis and do some ski mountaineering on the ice field.
Two summers ago, I watched this waterfalls going downstream me. And now I'm climbing on it. It's beautiful. I imagine skiing above them.
Blank, what happened in your nose?
Oh, I was getting my one of my picks in and I knocked a huge block off. It was like the size of my head. And yeah, it came down and hit me right in the nose. It was not very pleasant.
We still might have a chance. There's 7 pitches to go and the weather is not very good. Sorry man, I think this is the place to turn around. It's just no time. And the weather is not helping. It's wind is building up and the snow is coming in, so now after this trip I will go back home and will become a father. I can feel the responsibilities changing for myself. Like yesterday, we were considering doing a big line, then I had to say no. Although it looked like it's probably gonna be okay. I'm guessing a couple years ago, I would have definitely said yes, and yeah, let's just go for it and give it a try. But yeah, it is also, I'm sure it's just part of growing up in general.
How like special it is to be in the mountains, and that you really get to see like how quirky planet Earth is in its relation to water and its melting point. So this is the Goldilocks zone of the Goldilocks zone within our solar system, and that's me being very nerdy. Glaciers are cool, water ice is cool, snow is cool, rivers are cool. And we got it all here, and we are. It is a fact of life in our everyday reality in this type of climbing.
You know what is do like walking in the Blue Shangri-La. Amazing, man.
Very amazing.
So beautiful. Three months later, I finally returned to this area and ski about these waterfalls. It was amazing. But at the same time, a modern lodge was building at these waterfalls to bring in tourists. It feels surreal to watch all these changes. I began to wonder, is this still my Shangri-La?